What is up, y'all? Welcome to my fantasy football podcast. Super excited to have you if you're watching. Man, we're ticking into the late of the NFL season, getting into playoff college football. It's happening, y'all. If you're plugged into my Instagram, make sure you're following there. I'm giving y'all free sauce. This is a free $25 I had on there. And again, I'm not giving you every single pick I'm making. These are the picks that I am very, very sure on that I think you guys should make too. If you can tell, it hit free $25, but also down here to score 2 touchdowns. We're all over this. Making good picks all across. Coming into today, make sure you're checking into these Rams, Seahawks picks for Thursday night football and then into the weekend because there are Saturday night games. There are college football all weekend, and there is Sunday football and Monday football. So make sure you're checking me out there. I'm going to be active. Very good plays all across here. This might be a little spoiler, but we got a Rams plus 3.5. We have a thicker kicker, $50 for over 6.5 points. We'll get into why here in a second. And we also have a very nice kind of just player parlay here and the under. Just to get straight into the betting week, we're going to get right into our picks here. I've already made a couple on my end. I'm riding with the Rams at minus 1.5 on that sports book, even if that's what it says there. On a lot of other ones, they have them at plus 1.5 here. So you can easily find them at plus 1.5 on DraftKings, FanDuel right now. Just on CBS, they had them at the minus still. I'm going to take them at the minus. I think that's still a safe play. It's a pick 'em either way. With all this weather coming in, into the north or the Pacific Northwest, these guys are going to be chilly. And I think that this is going to be a big run game. It's going to be a low scoring game, just a lot of time ticking off the clock. The game might even go pretty fast. This one might be over before 9:45 or 10. You never know. Sometimes with these games, they can really get going fast. But who knows? Prime time, usually the NFL doesn't let that happen. But with these two teams coming in tonight, we have two of the best quarterbacks in the NFL, Sam Darnold, Matthew Stafford, head-to-head, man, going at it. Very good running backs behind them, very good receiving cores on both ends. You have JSN and Puka Nacua, two of the best younger receivers in the NFL, battling for, most yards in a season. It's pretty cool seeing these guys on the same field, to be quite honest. Them being in the same conference, them both being 11-3, both being 5-2 home and away. I just think this is like the perfect matchup. You just can't really put two teams against each other and be like, hey, are they more even matched up than these two? I mean, these guys are powerhouses. I love this. Other than the offensive side of the ball, we have to look at Seahawks defense and the Rams defense because Seahawks are notoriously a great defense, great up front with their pass rush. They don't even need to bring a blitz. One of the lowest blitzing teams in the league, but they're going to get to the quarterback. They promise you that. And then they're also going to be able to protect on the back end, and they don't have to play man coverage, which is what the Rams like to expose is with Puka Nacua. When they get those one-on-one or one-on-one situations with Puka Nacua, obviously with Devontae Adams being out tonight, we can't really talk about that. But when you have Puka Nacua, on the outside, that's when they like it one-on-one. Speaking of Devontae Adams being out, that's part of my thicker kicker parlay here. I'm not saying that the Rams cannot score a touchdown without Devontae Adams, but I feel like if they get in a situation where, hey, it's 3rd and 1 or it's 4th and 1, and we have to make that decision, should we, really go for it, or should we just kind of play it safe and go for the field goal? I'm taking those 3 points every time. I think that might happen 2 or 3 times, and if they score a touchdown, then we're all over that. So that kind of gets after that one. I have a lot of the running backs on this one. Blake Corum, he has been explosive, just had his first 100-yard game, 2 touchdowns. Be on the lookout for this cat. I do have him down for 2 touchdowns on a $5 parlay. Nothing crazy, but I feel like he would be a great one to have in tonight. Zach Charbonnet is going to be the touchdown scorer for the Seahawks, and I can really see that happening too. With Sam Darnold giving 4 interceptions to the Rams in the last time they played, and Sam Darnold just being kind of loose with the football lately, I feel like they're going to be very tight on him in the red zone and just make him, hey, if we're in the short situation, you're going to hand it off. And I feel like this guy can break one for a couple yards and a touchdown. Charbonnet, a very nice running back, very fine. He is the number 2 behind Kenneth Walker, but Kenneth Walker has been kind of on the down performance. So that's why I don't have him in a lot of these parlays. Over here, I have, Charbonnet again, Kyron Williams as well. Kyron Williams is bound to get his. And then also Rashid Shaheed receiving. A lot of people are going to be looking at that JSN receiving, but Rashid Shaheed, a new part of the Seahawks offense, had a 100-yard kickoff return last week, a 45-yard pass. You don't let those things happen and then not get the guy involved the week after. So I'm looking for him for 15 yards here, and this would be a huge play. Looking for a good one on this one. Past the Rams and the Seahawks, we have 2 Saturday night games, 4 o'clock and a 7 o'clock. Eagles and the Commanders at 4 o'clock. It's a good kind of NFC matchup. If this was on the card 2 months ago, we would have looked at this and been like, oh yeah, this is going to be a great game. But right now, with how the Commanders look at 4-10 and how the Eagles look offensively, this just won't be exciting to watch. But I will take 7 points with the Commanders. I don't think this will be a high-scoring game. I would definitely heavy on the under here, especially being away. The Eagles, they're not going to try to come out and do some crazy stuff like they did against the Raiders. I know they might think they're all heavy and hot because they beat the Raiders 31-0. But you know who else beat the Raiders 31-0? The Chiefs. And you know where the Chiefs are right now? 6-8 and out of the playoffs. So that doesn't tell you anything about that win last week. This is a huge testament if the Eagles are actually a bounce-back team or not. Public money has the Eagles sitting at, oh my God, 93 on the money line and 78 on the spread. And 80% of the money on the spread. Oh my God, this is a highway robbery from Vegas. Honestly, if you were going to bet this game, I would totally stay away. That's what I'm going to do. I think this is a total trap. But in my pick 'em here, I'm going to ride with the Commanders. I think that's the safer play here. They do it with Marcus Mariota. You guys are going to point to that Minnesota loss 31-0. That was when Jaden Daniels was quarterback, and he also got injured. So Marcus Mariota got him here. Packers, Bears. I'm riding with the Packers. It's hard to beat a team twice in a row, but the Bears don't have Roma Dunze. The Bears don't have Luther Burden. They're going to be having to run the ball, and they're going to have to force it with the run. I'd be on the lookout for, those tight ends for the Bears. Let's go find their names real quick. They have so many. Young cats. Colston Loveland. I'd be on the lookout for him. He's going to be playing in the slot this year. And with Luther Burden out, I feel like that gives him a big amount of, production value. Stat-wise this year, he's one of the highest producers. Yeah, he's the 3rd highest in catches. Colston Loveland, look at his plays this week. And then Cole Kmet as well. Looks like he only has but he does. He's looking like a red zone threat. So Cole Kmet, more of a red zone threat. So I'd be looking at him maybe an anytime touchdown if you can find him at a high line. Or maybe a Colston Loveland receiving yards or amount of targets at least, not receptions, because it looks like he doesn't really catch all the balls. And if you take the targets, then that just means Caleb Williams has to throw it in his general direction. Other than that, I don't have too much to say on those two teams. I just think that the Packers, even without Micah Parsons, can get it done against the Bears. I know they're playing at the Bears, but it's a Saturday night. It's a little different. This is going to be a cool game, probably the best game on Saturday, and a huge game for their division to see who can lock up that spot there. Bears currently sitting at the top of their division. This loss would put them at a tie with Green Bay. So then it goes to the tiebreaker, and Green Bay beat them twice. So Green Bay would move to number 1 in the division. Green Bay loses, they tie with Detroit, and it goes to their tiebreaker, which the Lions beat earlier in the year. Yeah, so the Packers beat the Lions earlier in the year. Okay, and the Packers beat them twice. So regardless, Green Bay's okay. Green Bay can still lose this game and be okay, but Detroit might take it over the Bears if it comes down to the Bears keep losing. That would be a scary one, and it might come down to that last game of the season. I love that they did this. All these last games of the seasons are all great divisional matchups. Week 18 is going to be so fun this year, especially if you're playing in some fantasy leagues where you still need guys to play. So with all that being said, I'm going to sit on the Packers this week. Nice. We'll sit with the Packers. And then this is probably my pick of the week. Panthers plus 2.5 against the Buccaneers. You come over here, they have them at plus 3. This is where I'd get them at on DraftKings. I'd probably take the over here, but I would take Carolina Panthers money line for sure, or Carolina Panthers spread for sure. This is a great game for the Carolina Panthers. If the Carolina Panthers can beat the Rams, then they can beat the Buccaneers when they're in this kind of shambleness that they're in. Man, I got way too many tabs open. Bills, Browns, minus 10.5 points. That's kind of a tough one to pick at, especially with the Browns defense and Myles Garrett looking for his sack record. I still just can't. Oh, man, this would be a tough one. I feel like this is going to be a low-scoring game. Browns defense finds a way to keep Bills under 20 points. And then, yeah, I still got to give it to the Bills because what I could see here is, but that's 18-9. If I could go 8, if you could keep the Bills under 20 and then, 3 field goals from the Browns. You never know, especially with this Bills defense. They did a great job against the Bengals in the snow. And they did a great job in the second half against the Patriots, which are great teams. The Browns are not great. Yeah, let's take the Bills minus 10.5. It's a safe bet. Wouldn't put my money on it, but that's a safe bet. Chargers and Cowboys. I'm riding with the Cowboys just because of what the Chargers did to the Chiefs last week. Stat of the week. In weeks 12 and 13, the Cowboys defeated the Eagles and the Chiefs. And in weeks 14 and 15, the Chargers followed suit. This marks the first time in a single season that 2 different teams defeated the reigning Super Bowl contenders in consecutive weeks. Kind of a crazy stat line, but both very good teams. You know what? I just remember. I think let's look at the injury report. If Quentin Johnson is out, questionable. He's questionable. Or Quentin Williams. And I know Quentin Johnson is out. Man, this is such a tough game. This would be a great game to watch. 71% of people are on the Chargers. Public money is on the Chargers, so I default to picking the opposite with the Cowboys. Looks like all my picks just got cleared. We'll make sure we save those. All right, Jets Saints. This is the easiest pick of the week at 4.5 points. On major sports books, you're probably going to have to find them at 5.5. But at 4.5, I'm riding that all day. Saints are going to get it done. I thought I brought my Saints ad in here, but it's probably not appropriate because I'm a Chiefs fan, but I have a Saints hat. So I loved Drew Brees when I was a kid. So I'm a Drew Brees fan. He doesn't play for the Saints, but he did. Goodness. I'm staying there on the Saints for sure. Vikings, Giants. This is going to be a bad football game. Young quarterbacks, obviously. Some cool stuff probably going on. But in New York, this for me, if I was watching this, I'd be asleep by halftime. So I do have to take the Vikings in this one based off their performance against the Cowboys. I think that was kind of generational by JJ, actually. If he can just keep that momentum going, he's good. Jackson Dart didn't get it done last week. I can't remember who they played, but I know they lost. Yeah, they're 2-12, so they lost to the Commanders. It'd be easier to say they lost than to say they won. Thinking about this Jets-Saints game again, I just got to mention Brady Cook's playing again this week. If they have his lines at about 150 passing yards and anytime touchdown, put those in. The kid is a cat. Maybe throw in an anytime interception too, but put it in there for the kid. He's going to make it do. He's going to be a journeyman quarterback. Watch out for that one. Chiefs, Saints. Man, I'm dreaded picking this game. If you see the background behind me, I'm a Chiefs rider, man. I mean, I got the Chiefs sweatshirt now. Chiefs for life. Favored by 3.5. Gardner Minshew as quarterback. I wish this would have happened earlier in the season so that I didn't have to watch this pitiful game. You want to talk about snooze fest? This is going to be the worst game of the weekend. Don't even watch this game. It's not worth anybody's time. I mean, it'll be worth my time because I'm a fan, but man, this is going to be awful. This will be the 5th different team Minshew has started a game with in his first 7 seasons. True journeyman quarterback. Only 2 other quarterbacks to do that. I'm ready for it. And with the offensive line in shambles, I just see sack after sack after sack and interception after interception. So unless the Chiefs defense can score, this will be a tough one. I have to pick the Chiefs. It's in my DNA. But Titans may sneak one in here. 55% of the people on the Chiefs, I feel confident in that then. All right, Bengals, Dolphins. This is a easy one. I think that with both quarterbacks, obviously Tua's out. Quinn Ewers will be starting. He wants to prove himself. But I think the Bengals really need to prove themselves in this game. Joe Burrow says he's not having fun. Well, it's not fun when you're losing and you have turf toe all year and you just watch everybody play. So that's why it's not fun, buddy. You need to come out here and prove yourself. You've only done it for really a couple seasons. And it's kind of the thing with Lamar. Like, people are talking about Lamar being sick and yada, yada. We hear this every year. Every year, man. I mean, you guys are getting paid millions of dollars. Toughen it up. Get out there and play football. All right? If you don't want to play, then don't. Okay? You can make that decision. But don't just sit back here and go back and forth and be like, man, I'm kind of interested. But, the money's nice because, of course, it is. Joe Burrow needs to prove himself. -1.5. Falcons, Cardinals. I'm going to ride with my Jacoby Brissett. I need him in the fantasy leagues. It's going to be a good one. Let's go Jacoby. Jags, Broncos. Jags +3.5 at Broncos. Ride them at Mile High, baby. Trevor Lawrence off great performances. Defense humming. I feel like this is really the opponent that the Broncos have been waiting for. Granted, they played the Packers last week and got it done, and I might keep saying this. They're 12-2. They're a great team. But the Jags are hot, and I'm going to give them 3.5 points because the Broncos keep everything within one score, and I think it might be a field goal. And if it's not, it's going to be a great game. This is the game of the weekend, in my opinion, especially if you're an AFC fan. You're paying attention to the playoff bracket because the Jags are making a case to go to the Super Bowl. I'm not kidding you guys. People talk about, hey, the Broncos, the Pats, the Bills. No, man, look at the Jags, man. These guys are on fire right now. They showed it to the Chiefs early. I doubted them. I said, this is because the Chiefs keep making mistakes. No, they're a good football team. Obviously, the Broncos are. We've seen them do it. We've seen, Sean Payton come out and talk about them before the season. Say, hey, we're going to win the Super Bowl. We'll see about it. We need to see you guys win a playoff game. The Broncos are very iffy. They play everything way too close for my liking. So that's why I'm giving them 3.5 points here. Steelers, Lions. Ooh, this is a good one. Ooh, this is a good one. Because the Steelers never leave anything out of about 5 points in a divisional game. And I feel like this is kind of a divisional game. Realistically, this doesn't matter too much for, seeding wise in besides the record. Because even if the Steelers lose, they'd still be tied if the Ravens win. And the Lions, so if the Steelers were to lose, the Lions were to win, they would still be under, they would still be under the Packers because the Bears are at the top of the division. So much stuff going on in these last few weeks, that's why it's important to pay attention and, stay plugged into this stuff. Back to this, though, I just think that Aaron Rodgers is getting it done. They look like they're humming on offense. He looks like he has a great guy with DK. He looks like he has the running game down, the play action game down. And Darnell Washington is just like, hey, here's the ball, buddy. Go run everybody over. Obviously, the Lions know how to score. Jahmyr Gibbs, top 5 running back. Jared Goff gets it done too. The Lions defense does pretty well, but they seem to always end up in the 30 to 40 point category. High scoring games. I feel like the Steelers might be able to stuff them a little bit here, and I'm going to give them the 7.5 points. I don't think this will be a high scoring game. I feel like that's kind of contrary to what the Steelers play. And when the Steelers are in a game, it's kind of their football game. Raiders, Texans, ride the 14.5 points here. Maybe not bet on 14.5. Maybe take it down to about 10.5. But this could be a 21 skunk game. This could be a 41-0 game. I'm sure the Texans coaches are like, hey, if the Eagles can beat them 31-0, we can beat them 31-0. So ride the 14.5. I think that's a smooth bet. 73% of the people think so too, though. Patriots, Ravens. This is a great game. Good Sunday night matchup. Obviously, kind of an AFC one. Before the season, you would have looked at and been like, great game. Here we are. Lamar might be sick. Patriots coming off a big loss. I'm still going to ride with the Patriots because they're giving them 2.5 points. I like the dog setting on this one. I feel like the Patriots need to bounce back. And they were killing the Bills early. And really what killed them late was fatigue and letting Josh Allen run the ball and get out of the pocket and make huge throws in the fourth quarter. And that seems like what they let teams do. And I could see Derrick Henry maybe in the fourth quarter having a huge game and attempting a comeback here. But Other than that, I feel like the Patriots will probably put it out of the way early. I don't think Derrick Henry can score 21 late. That you got to be a quarterback to be able to score that many points. Now, if the Ravens keep it within 10 to 14 into the fourth quarter, I could definitely see the Ravens taking this away. But the Patriots are going to get ahead early. I think this is their total bounce back. Colts, Niners, read the Colts. I think we saw the Seahawks struggle a lot offensively last week, and I don't think that was to the Colts' defense effect. I think the 49ers are a sneaky, sneaky team. Everyone is talking about the Rams and the Seahawks, obviously, but this is a great game to get on at 6.5 points here. All right, those are my picks for the week. I'm going to type in a couple scores here for New England. I'm going to go 34, and for Baltimore, I want 25. For San Francisco, I want 28. Brock Purdy coming off one of his best games, and Indiana only scoring 14. Perfect. I like that. All right, now into my fantasy football, man. What are we at? Championship week. Championship week. All right. I'm excited. It's a 2-week championship week. So 2, 7, and 6 teams. I snuck in as the 4th seed. I'm projected to win this week. I'm going to get my get back after losing week 1 by 0.008 points. 0.08 points. I'm getting my get back here. Watch out, Daniel Brown. All right, in my next league. This is so rewarding, being able to just do this. Playoffs, round 2. Talking to a minor, Mr. Cody Gardner. Projected to win here. Okay. Looking good on this side of the ball. Notable movements. Moved Zay Flowers up. He's had some good weeks. Kenneth Gainwell's in the lineup. And Nico Collins, JSN back in there too. I don't think JSN was ever out, but Nico was. Okay. Playoffs round 2 here, people. I'm slated to lose, though. I did lose in the previous week 8 matchup, looking like a good opponent here. He was number 1 in the entire league. So looking for something good against this guy. We'll see. Threw a couple wild cards out there. Tyler Show playing against the Jets. I feel like that might be a good one. They let Trevor Lawrence have 40 points last week. And then we have Chase Young and Cameron Jordan on the defense to make sure those boys goes crazy. And then Cam Curl against Seattle. I think that he might get an interception tonight. And I think that's it. DK Metcalf, I think he might do some points. And then Puka Nacua, hopefully, as well. Last but not least, big money league. Here are our fantasy football crew. I'm about to take that trophy from you. Standings. Playoff race. Here we are. Playing the Sharks. Round 2. Championship next week. This will be a great game. Great game. Got Tyler Show in this one as well. A-Chain. With Quentin Ewers being the quarterback, I think A-Chain might just go federal. And then Bucky Irving needs to have a bounce back. I have a Blake Corum on the bench here that I'm thinking about moving in, but I just can't do it. I just can't do it. I want to so bad. He's been so good. This decision might come later. Oh, man. Game log. Let's just look here. He's been 14, 32, and 14. Bucky Irving. Game log. 15, 16, and 7. Not against crazy opponents, though. He's getting 16 touches. Yeah, I just got to let him eat. I got to let Bucky eat. We'll see that. Yep, we're going to let him go. Slater is the favorite here, too. We'll see where that takes us into this weekend. just make sure you're checking out my Instagram. I've got these plays up for you guys. I gave a free one out. It's already expired now, though, of course. But I'm giving these out. Make sure you're checking this out. Follow me. Throw the notifications on. My YouTube channel, Cosmic Football Analysis. You're here right now watching. Subscribe, like, comment. Let me know if you enjoyed the video. And I'm so excited to, that you've watched the video all the way through. And we'll see you in the next one, okay? God bless.